had a question about energy. So I'm going to talk about it some. Energy, what it is. Negative, positive, and the bad stuff. I don't think I have all the pieces, but I do have a good perspective at times during this conversation. Since we're going to be talking about energy, there is a possibility that my voice could fluctuate. If it does, you will hear energy come through my voice. No, I am not possessed. I have connected the right and the left. You're hearing the energy connect. You're hearing me and my higher self, my DM, my twin flame, the other half, come through with the connection. I'm still me. But energy comes in many forms. The question is not what is energy, but the question is what is not energy. Everything is energy. Your energy. Everything around you is made up of energy. This is made up of energy. It's a thought. And we've created it with a thought. And I guess you could say that we actually solidified it. Probably by condensing the molecules in the atoms. I'm not too sure on how it works. But yeah. As far as taking in energy, I guess your question was because I felt energy, and I said that the person's words carried no truth because there was no energy. At that moment, what I'm talking about is that form of energy. It's like a cold energy. Like a cool breeze, like sitting in an air conditioner, you know, only it's tingly. It has an electrical feeling to it. The only thing is it doesn't have the bite that man-made electricity does. People will tell you it's negative. In a sense it is, and in a sense it isn't. Then there's the heat. Heat is also energy, where all of a sudden you feel heat coming at you, and it starts like from the inner core, and it spreads out. They can tell you it's menopause. I don't think it is. I think it's more energy than anything else. The heat is noted for being good energy, because it's healing energy. When you heal somebody, you use heat. You feel the heat from your hands. People refer to the negative energy, which is like spiritual energy. It is. They call it negative because they think it's bad. So you're supposed to stay away from it. Actually, it's not. Okay. It's really not. What it is, negative, positive, it's two halves. You're half negative, you're half positive. Okay. And like electrical currents, electrical wiring. When you go to do the wiring in a house, you have a positive wire, a negative wire, and then you have a grounding wire. Okay. So you can't have one without the other. And that's what we're experiencing right now is a shift in minds. But yeah, negative energy for the spiritual energy that is cold is not bad energy. It's what you do with it that makes it bad. If you use it to harm another, if you use it to manipulate. And then that would be, at that point, you would be one of those people that would be mind, spirit, body, or mind, body, and spirit. Because you would put your mind ahead of spirit, because you would seek to control the spiritual energy. And the problem there is that you cannot. Okay? Spirit needs to flow. We think we know. We think we know. The ego tells us we know this. Or we know what's going on. No, we don't. We don't know what's going on. We only hear what we know. We only see what we see. But when you've got that energy flowing, you send it out. And you say, okay, spirit, be my eyes. You see what I don't. Be my ears. You hear what I do not. Be my voice. Say the words. This is the energy that we're talking about. And then you let it go. You just let it go. And you let it do your things. You can put the energy out in the form of a question. You can direct it toward, say something happens between you and another person. You feel that connection of energy. And so that energy is telling you there's more to the story than what you would know. Send the energy out. Find out what's going on. Let the energy do its thing. Because sometimes it could be something else that's causing the person to be the way that they are, or the things. Is there a bad energy out there? Yeah. Yeah, there is. And we've experienced it. At night. It comes, it's a numbing cold. It paralyzes you. And it's done with frequency. The last time we had it happen, we heard a frequency. And we picked it up. And we woke up out of it. Thankfully, we have a dog that was heard us struggling, and they were able to knock us out of it. We found that when people, they call it night terrors, freezing and stuff like that. But the energy is different. But energy really isn't bad. It's what you do with it. And as far as like cleansing and removing the negative energy, maybe I need to rephrase that. And what you're doing is, when you're cleansing a room, you can use sage, you can use salt water, you can use holy water, you can say a prayer. It all depends on what you're comfortable with and what your spiritual preference is. What you're doing is you're cleaning out negative thoughts, negative vibrations. Okay. Say someone was in your house, you had an argument. They're gone. You want to do some spiritual work. What you need to do is to clean your house of that anger, because even though the person has still left, the energy is still there. It's a residue. It's still in your home. It's still clinging to you. So you need to remove it. You need to clean it. What I've done, and it works quite well, is I have carpeting. So where I have carpeting, I have put salt on my carpets and a line of salt across the door. I don't get as much company as I used to. People that did come over, some of them got sick and had to leave. I've even taken and put in a tablespoon of holy water in a cup of coffee. I've had that done to see if the person themselves were okay. Because right now we're going through a physical change. Okay? And it's a shift in consciousness. And we're waking up to our inner demons. And the thing is, we're so focused on everybody else outside of us that we're not stopping. We need to stop and say, well, wait a minute. What about the demons in me? We need to focus on the demons in ourselves. So you can also need to go through a cleansing process with yourself. Native Americans sage themselves. We drink holy water every so often. If we get hit with too much negativity, we'll take a sip of holy water. Go right down to the church, pour it, bang. It works. It works. There are some energies. There are some energies that do not respond to the sage, to the cleansing. That's when you stand up and you say, you don't have that permission. You don't have that permission. Get out of my house. And you can tell them to leave. And they have to leave. Do you want to know why? Because you're a powerful being. And you're not aware of that. But they are. Would you like to know why? Because we're all going through a waking process. See, some of us are waking. And then some of us are awake. And then you've got the ones that are aware that they're awake. A totally different point of view, different perspective. Yeah, those are the ones that need dealing with. The ones that are aware and awake and know what they're doing. They're going to be dealt with. No bones about that. And there's no escape for them at all. There are spirits that are crying out for their vengeance. And these are the people that they seek. The ones that are awake, they fall under the category of forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. Because they don't. They're awake, but they're not aware. Makes a difference. It really makes a difference to be aware. Because once you become aware, then you can act on it. But to remove negative energy, sage, salt, holy water. How will you know it's negative energy? It'll make you sick. It's where you get disease. Disease is actually dis-ease. Dis-ease of the spirit. See, everything, it comes from a spiritual level. It comes from a level of consciousness. Think bad thoughts project. Think good thoughts project. The saying, misery loves company. If you're miserable, your energy will draw the miserable people. If you're happy, it will draw the happy people. It's your choice. But as far as like the negative and the positive, the hot energy and the cold energy, which is actually spiritual, they're not bad. The cold energy isn't bad. That's spirit. That's a piece of you inside. Okay? Because we're waking right now. You're a one-gendered species, and you have a two-gendered brain. And then you got a hidden base, which is the cerebellum, which is totally unconscious. That's waking. And it needs to become aware, because everything back here is moving forward. It's where you got your interdimensional, your portals, your aliens, your everything. Okay? I think we've explained this in another video. Basically, we all have to walk our own path. And there are those out there that are walking their path. But then they get this cute idea, which is an egotistical idea. Hey, I know the way. I've got the way. You just buy my book. You just listen to me. If it doesn't resonate, and that's with the energy, the spiritual energy, you'll feel the tingle when you know. See, you can believe, but anything you believe has a lie in the middle of it. When you know, you just know. And it's a spiritual journey. And you have to fight the negativity inside of yourself first before you can fight it outside. And here's the kicker. As you fight it inside and you come to terms with it and you work it out, because you can't, there's no more putting it behind the door. There's no more, this is a stone, I'm not turning it. You have to turn the stone over. That's why the mirror is so important. It's not a toy. It's not a toy. It's a tool. It's a portal. You're a reflection. There is so much more going on in this world than what we know. And it's hard for me because I've reached this point in my life where I've become, even though it's very simple, it's become very complicated, and I have a tendency to go over people's heads, and that is not my intention. So I speak symbolically a lot, and I compare things as to where they are. And symbolically, you can find your own answers because you are a very symbolic person. But in order, before you can understand the universal, you need to understand how you communicate with yourself. You need to bring the two together. The bride, the groom, the two witnesses. But removal of negative energy, eventually you'll get to the point where you will evolve to the point where you don't need to use sage, water, or any of that. You will find, as you grow, that we are beings that are able, we can take in the negative energy. We take it in. We all can. And you can transmute it. And you can take that bad energy and make it positive. Here's an example. Again, you get in an argument with somebody. You're angry. That anger is just, it's settling there, it's festering, it's fuming. It's not really serving any purpose except getting your ego and your emotions worked up, okay? Your mind and your ego at that point is enhancing the anger to the point to where you don't know what to do. You're going on overload, okay? The anger serves, what purpose does it serve? You know, it doesn't. So this anger is a negative energy. Okay, you're angry. So what's a good way to transmute it? Do housework. Go out. Be productive. Take the negative energy, turn it around, and make it into something productive. Sit down. Look in the mirror. Face your skeletons. We can't escape them. They're coming out. And our true natures are coming out. And people are not understanding of that. They feel like they've got this other person inside of them, and that's where you get your split personalities, because you're totally unaware of the fact that another aspect of yourself is waking up. You have to work it out. So as far as people being negative and bad, they're not. They're unaware. They're unaware of the fact that they're dealing with another aspect of themselves. And you know, the funny thing is that I spoke to a psychologist. At the time, I didn't know she was. But I spoke to her about some of these things, and her jaw dropped, and she looked at me, and I told her, I says, I can't work full time because of this. She looked at me, and she says, no, you can't. She says, I'm a psychologist. Your knowledge is too far advanced. That's why you can't. Because I can't tolerate the simple things sometimes. Now I just go. But spiritual energy. That cold energy is not bad energy. It's a piece of you. Even the heat is a piece of you. It's you have to cleanse yourself. You can't cleanse another. You can't get rid of the demons for another. That's theirs. That belongs to the other. Gotta face your own demons. So we're half positive, we're half negative, we're half good, we're half bad. We're two halves of a whole. Like I said, cleaning it. Use white candles for purity. Sage, salt, holy water, Floridian water. It depends on what you use, what your preferences are. Okay, it's not about what's the right way or what's the wrong way, because what's right for you may not be for another person. And you have to understand that even as much as we are all part of a whole, we are individuals also. And as you find yourself, you find out that you become more part of a whole. It's interesting as you go on the journey. I think I added a little bit extra information there. I hope you don't mind. But negative energy is a polarity. The bad energy, that's man-made by the ones that are aware and awake. And they're getting ready to answer for their actions. And they won't be able to get away. Nope. There's going to be a bright light coming through. It's going to be a bright light. It's going to be a fire. But it will not harm those that are innocent. Father, forgive me. Forgive them, for they know not what they do. Shall be forgiven. And then they are going to have to learn to heal. Because that's part of what we're here for. It's a spiritual healing. But it's all in the perspective, my friend. And you have the right to tell those bad energies to leave. Because they're well aware that when you start waking up, they're going to be having issues, because we're going to remember things that we're not remembering right now, and that's the unconscious. There's a lie in all of this somewhere. Truth is coming. Ain't no stopping it. It is what it is. But yeah, negative energy, stop. Step back, gear it down. Don't bite into it. When you bite into the anger, you're biting into negativity itself. That's negative energy. Think about what's bad. Think about what's wrong. If it doesn't carry values, ethics, morals, common sense, it's not okay. So you got to take common sense, sprinkle it with a little bit of values. In doing so, you gain morals. And in gaining morals, that will put you on the road of ethics. The road of ethics is the narrow path, the red road, the journey of the fool, the hermit's path, the cerebellum. So, I hope this was helpful. probably put in more than what I should have, but you know, reason for everything. Please feel free to ask questions. If I don't have the answer, I go looking for it. Sometimes it may take me time to respond. If it does, understand it's because it takes time for spirit to respond. The energy's not instantaneous. You gotta ask, let go, and then one day the question comes back. And when the question comes back to you and it pops into your head, don't pass off the question. Say, oh, the question's back, because it's bringing you answers. You gotta let go. It's kind of like let go, let God. And you gotta have faith. But as far as harming another person, not allowed anymore. The energy won't respond. The energy will not respond to ego. And it's about getting real. It's about being you. And we're two halves of a whole. We're good, we're bad. Time to bring the two together. Meeting in the middle. It's time to work things out. We need to stop fighting with ourselves and with others. Enjoy your day.